I'm burning up. I'm schizophrenic. And we're watching the fucking Assassin's Creed Shadows review. I'm not doing it on my browser I usually do because I need to sign back into YouTube and I'm too tired to do that. So here we go. We get fucking commercials. What the fuck ever. Actually, before then, let's just look at. Okay, we got about 500k views and only 9k likes. Again, they can remove the extension all they want. That ratio doesn't look good. And hell, if we look down here in the comments, we'll probably have people telling that has the extension telling us. Well, let's just give us a watch.
It's wild that it took almost 20 years and dozens of games for the biggest stealth action series around to finally bend towards feudal Japan. Assassin's Creed Shadows makes the most of that theme, with a great pair of shinobi and samurai heroes sharing center stage that are fun to skulk through giant castles or wade into vicious battles with.
I don't know, man. Again, every time I look at this game, it just looks like a game I've played before, right? And like all of this, like this isn't combat. These are like QTEs, which are things that it's effectively cutscenes in the middle of combat sequences. And you have the health bar. I guess you have the gear bar. You have the level of the enemy. I mean, I guess I'll give Ubisoft one thing. This isn't inundated with UI, and when I heard they have a thing where you can turn off this up here, but the game is just so like it lacks a fundamental ability to point you towards the objective naturally, that people just use it anyway because you can go off into a useless fucking chain of like quests and events that you don't care for. And games that changed just were like Elden Ring. You know, like the grace points would actually point you on the map towards, well, effectively the general direction of where you had to go, and it did that naturally. It didn't have all this UI on the screen, didn't have a compass or anything. It just took you looking for the maps and looking at the map and looking at like you have the yellow thing, and then you have it pointing off in a direction. But I mean, obviously developers have to put things like this in because you can have a situation, and you can have like, I think it's called diegetic UI, where it, like, which is what Elden Ring does, where like even if you don't look at the map, if you look at the actual side of Grace, you will see like a little like line of yellow coming off of it. But you do that, and people get mad anyway because they're like, "Oh, where the fuck do I go?" And then okay, you put it in, you put the yellow ledge, you put the yellow paint, and people get mad at that. It's like if you're making a game, and I guess this doesn't. Maybe this is kind of applicable to Ubisoft, but if you're making a game, period, that's 30, 40 grand down the shitter, right? And you want your game to sell, so you're just going to add those things just to be safe. Because, okay, a person doesn't know where to go, they get frustrated, they either refund, or they go, like, they look online, which ruins the fun, and then they get mad at you. So at the end of the day, like, this is the reason why there's yellow paint on ledges, is because of things like that.
That are fun to skulk through giant castles or wade into vicious battles with.
I'm not gonna keep pausing, but I heard Yasuke, people will play him. Like a lot of people that played the game will just play Yasuke because he's just a, the quintessential heavy hitter, can take hits. Like nobody plays the woman. I mean, maybe they do for like story reasons, just to push that story along. But most what I've heard from people that played it, they don't really care. And that's the sad thing, right? Because she's literally the assassin of Assassin's Creed, and I'll give them this: they give you the ability to choose between two distinct play styles. They didn't just lock you into one. But the problem is, I mean, it's not Assassin. He's not Assassin's Creed. She's more Assassin's Creed, but obviously she has the health bar. She has the medical, whatever. Yeah, the enemy's health bar and their level. You know, the shit they added, just, I don't know, to mainstream the game.
Besides the setting, the bulk of the changes this time around focus on making smaller tweaks to well-established systems, such as less cluttered maps and skill trees, while also doubling down on things that really worked in 2023's Assassin's Creed Mirage, like the more focused combat that accompanies its better-paced main quests.
Yeah, but again, that's not really... That right there is effectively like a cutscene. That's not really... I mean, it looks cool, but combat requires interaction. Like, that is just something that plays after you kill, like the kill animation. That's not really interactive combat. That's just embellishment that makes things look cool.
It's not a perfect reset, as imbalances and missed opportunities abound, but I feel more confident than ever that Assassin's Creed could be back and here to stay.
And once this is done, I will never take up the sword again. Let us get this over with.
Like a river in the rainy season, Shadow's story overflows with cliches and tropes. But morally complex intersecting plots still keep the intrigue high, which is the same trick that made Assassin's Creed Valhalla's stories work when they did. I don't think I was particularly wowed by any of the writing on a regular basis, but there are some standout moments of tense reflection and curious happenings sprinkled throughout.
Who is behind these murders?
I don't know.
The typical Assassin's Creed conspiracy woven into it fits perfectly within the war-torn Sengoku period of Japan too, like a hidden blade snugly in its wrist sheath. It's still a bit too full of go here, do that quests as bridges between major moments, but Shadows is organized in a way that can be enjoyed in pieces and at your leisure without getting too lost between plot points.
Yeah, and that's fine. Look, it's just your quintessential Ubisoft game that you've played 1,000 times. You know, open world. Granted, the season mechanic is fine. I guess you could argue that's the one newish mechanic as opposed to switching between the two characters. But you look at the UI, you look at the combat, you look at the gameplay loop, and it's just, you've played it before, and why do you keep comparing it to previous Assassin's Creed? Like, this is an Assassin's Creed Shadow review. Like, the game should stand on its own merit. So being, like, in a review, you would think you would judge the game itself on its own merit, instead of comparing it to 5, 6, 7 other games that are also Assassin's Creed. I mean, this is just an odd argumentation that I don't understand. Like, if we want to compare 3 games of the same genre, 3 completely different games, sure, but you would want the game we're talking about to stand on its own merit and judge its things and itself, instead of just throwing a bunch of other games in there. Mirage is not a very good baseline, because that game looked like it came out in the PlayStation 2 era.
Almost like how one might enjoy a good book. The leads themselves are wonderful. You spend a lot of the early game with the sharp-witted and brooding Naoe, who is among the last shinobi warriors of the Iga clan, a role thrust upon her by tragedy. That tragedy befell her in part by the hands of the charismatic Hulk Yasuke, who is...
And, like, Yasuke's character, like, I'll give them this. His character, like, actually looks... Like, his character model actually looks good. Nawe looks like a PlayStation, like, 3 character. While Yasuke looks like he's current gen. Like, he's the only character model that has any level of detail, while everyone else looks like they're from a completely different game. Like, he looks like, and again, I'm just judging the character model off their own merit. He looks fine, but she doesn't. Like, she looks like an NPC that you occasionally play, and this looks like the main character,
who is a tireless warrior for justice and peace.
When
they begin working together, members of the Iga clan, a role thrust upon her by tragedy. That tragedy befell her in part by the hands of the charismatic Hulk Yasuke, who is a tireless warrior for justice and peace. When they begin working together, they are frequently each other's most reliable counsel, with different perspectives on the events going on.
Like, yeah, like it looks like you switch from one game to another just by comparing them both. Like, it's like when you're looking at her, it's one type of game. Then you look at him, it's a completely different type of game.
Perhaps in that chance lies the seed of redemption for each of us.
In other words, they truly do balance one another. And while I don't think either one would win popularity contests against some of the other series stars like Ezio or Edward, together they serve as a bright light in the center of a largely dark tale of revenge.
Sarah mattered. I want to find
Yeah, you're gonna get all the, yep. I ain't editing these out because the editing software fucking shit. Fucking free goddamn clip champ.
Most of the missions in Shadow starts on the refreshingly intuitive objective board. Thematically, this approach matches the tone of using all of the information you gather to identify hidden members of a secret society trying to plunge Japan into chaos. Functionally, the way...
Yeah, I mean, this looks like this adds to Assassin's Creed. Like, this is Assassin's Creed right here. Like, I haven't played the game to see how it's actually implemented, but this, absolutely.
The way it organizes outstanding tasks and the people involved is far more useful than the old bulleted quest list. Selecting a quest gave me a short list of clues to help discern where the objective was. Past Assassin's Creed games have tried versions of this before, but this one is the first one that I felt consistently made me look at my map and actually deduce where the spot in question might be. Rather than lighting up your map with a galaxy of tooltips, Shadows mostly relies on sparse points of interest icons to push you towards the areas you'll need to see in person.
Yeah, you have your quintessential tower shit, whatever. But yeah, and that's fine. I mean, people don't like legends and tooltips and all these icons on a map. I mean, they're useful, but I mean, again, people like the diegetic UI better.
When you climb up to the signature high points to take a good
more
long look at your
natural
surroundings, you'll see a bunch of these things that tell you that there's something out there, but you're gonna have to go check them out for yourself to know what. I love this. I could feel my brain starting to detangle the checklist conditioning that years of these games have instilled in me.
Yeah, but see, then you have this. Like, there should be better ways, like maybe smoke in the distance, maybe crows flying around, or whatever type of goofy bird they have in Japan. Like, this needs to just be better than just dropping icons on a map. Like, you should be the one dropping the icon. Like, you should put pen to paper and be like, alright, this is where this was, this is where that was. You should be able to put an infinite amount of this. Like, you have the whole place marker thing, But I feel like it just needs to be better than this.
Most of these undiscovered locations fall into a number of reliable categories, like castles you can infiltrate and attempt to steal special gear from, or any of the many villages scattered across Japan. But you can't be sure unless you take them in for yourself.
Like, why the fuck? Like, there's literally a meditation QTE. It's like, why? Like, what the fuck is this? Like, what is this? Like, I do believe there is gameplay reasons for this to be here, but it's like, what the hell?
A common thing I would always stop to handle whenever I came across them were world activities. These are smaller locations and events that, when completed, add knowledge points to your characters, adding new options to their skill trees. Not all these events are exciting, but they often don't take too long and the points are worth it in the end. And some can add an interesting distraction from the action for a short spell.
Yeah, but sequence breaking the action and the things going on in the world for these side things, like, this is why I got on the RoboCop Rogue City game, because you'll be in a situation where there's hostages, then out of nowhere the goddamn mayor will be like, oh, hey, talk to me. Oh, well, let's have this conversation. It's like, brother, like, I'm in the middle of something, brother. And then you have just some random people like, oh, hey, look, talk to us. It's like, brothers, I'm kind of in the middle of a main quest. Like, maybe this isn't as choppy as I think it is, because most modern Western games have these things where they're content rich, and people are like, please just turn down the shit that don't add to the game and turn up the shit that does. Like, I'm not doubting this isn't an interesting thing to do, but I'm saying it's probably implemented in a way where it just takes away from the things happening in the world.
Between outings, I spent some time at the hideout. After collecting minerals, crops, and wood out in the world, you can use those resources to build and upgrade important buildings here that give you access to new assets. I spent the majority of my time at the forge managing my equipment, while other important buildings provide features that can be managed in places outside of the hideout.
Yeah, and again, if this was, because to my knowledge, this adds really nothing to the game. Like, you could probably go through your whole game. Well, obviously you're going to be compelled to do this and to level up your weapons to 30, because that's how they gate you out of progression. Like, they don't gate you skill-wise. They gate you number-wise. They got the weapon DPS, posture DPS, ability damage, adrenaline gain, and then you have all these other things, right? Like, this is how they gate you. And this is just, I think, just gating the player who would just flat numbers is just, so many fucking games do this. Like, so many modern games do this that it's just, I mean, I don't want to say it's lazy, because obviously you have to code all this shit in and you have to balance it, but I mean, you should be able, if you're an autist like me, to beat your head against the fucking wall early game and then eventually have the wall crumble, instead of doing the Assassin's Creed Odyssey thing. Again, not going to compare the two games, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey, like, I couldn't finish that game because it did that. I'm like, what? I ain't spending hours to grind just so I can get numbers up, and once numbers are up, I can progress. Like, that's boring.
Majority of my time at the forge managing my equipment, while other important buildings provide features that can be managed in places outside of the hideout, like the new summoning ability from the dojo, which let me call in help from certain allies I met during my adventure.
Wait, did she just come off the fucking side? Dude.
I'm glad I didn't have to dote on this place very much, as I personally can't be bothered to decorate a homestead. But those who can won't be disappointed by the amount of cosmetics available to find and buy.
Yeah, but see, this is what I mean, right? They add things like this, which are fine, but this is why games are $70, and why they have in-game stores, and why they have 7 fucking different editions. They demand you pay for all this bloat that adds nothing to the game. I mean, this is cute and all, but is it Assassin's Creed? And to me, the answer is no. This isn't Assassin's Creed, but they put time, money, and effort into putting this in. Does it add to the game? No. Like, I'm not saying this isn't something people don't want. I'm saying this isn't Assassin's Creed. Like, this is something to add in a different game altogether.
This version of 1500s Japan is a beautiful place. There's such a symphony of color over every hill and across every lake. Each season...
Yeah, and I'll give them that. Like, I mean, it looks, alright. I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know if you're playing on a PC, but it's like, you look closer and it looks cool. And it's probably a distance thing, but yeah, I mean, I guess the terrain looks fine, but do people play Assassin's Creed for the fucking water physics? I mean, they're okay, and maybe they add, depending on the type of person you're talking to, but most people aren't going to sit staring at the fucking water physics or the tree physics. Most people are going to play Assassin's Creed as an assassin and creeding, not looking at details that, you know, or it's like sprinkling pepper on a steak. Like, you don't get it for the pepper, you get it for the steak. You savor the steak, which is the content. And things like these just add.
It brings with it incredible landscapes, sometimes covered in the copper brown of autumn or entombed in deep white snow. I found the weather to be some of the best I'd ever experienced in an open world. It was hard not to be moved watching powerful winds pick up and bring in rolling thunderstorms, especially when nature reacted to it all in real time, as flocks of birds take flight and ground critters scurry to find safety. And not for nothing, but in my dozens of hours in Shadows, I encountered remarkably few bugs for a game this size.
Yeah, I mean, bugs are bugs. They're going to exist. I mean, some people said they've encountered a lot of bugs. Some encountered very little. I mean, I'm surprised the game actually is functional, right? Like, they really, like, when... I'm not even adding all the controversy around Shadows into this. I'm just going off this review alone and what I'm told, because I ain't buying this fucking game. But surprisingly, the game functions, which is amazing given all the setbacks.
The 40-hour main story revolves around unmasking and eliminating.
Sarah mattered.
Yeah,
Find and kill
we're
people
gonna
who
go
matter.
through this again. Fucking deal with it. Why is it showing the same fucking ad? And it shows all what.
Of a deadly organization called the Shimbaku. Once you've chosen a target, their multi-mission arcs give you regular opportunities to handle the situation with either Yasuke's might or Naoe's stealth. While there are certainly scenarios where one is more useful than the other, in general, there are remarkably few quests where Naoe isn't better suited for the task at hand.
I'm not allowed here. I should be quiet.
If the Assassin's Creed playstyle is the combination of concepts like exploration, parkour, stealth, and combat, Naoe can do all of these competently, excelling at parkour and stealth in particular. While Yasuke...
Yeah, I mean, I also heard that the enemy AI is dumb. which is again unsurprising. Like you jump into a bush, they won't even if they see you jump in, they'll be like, "Oh, it must have been the wind."
Yasuke can't climb very well or sneak around much due to his size and general lack of grace.
I meant to do that.
He is a devastating force in combat, but Naoe can simply sneak around most situations that Yasuke would cut his way through, solving them with so much less trouble. As much as I like Yasuke, he's...
Yeah, so she's kind of like in easy mode if you're good at stealth. Like, I mean, I don't much care to play games stealthily unless, like, what's a game where you're, like, the first Assassin's Creed, that was the point, right? Because, well, in that game you didn't have gear score or a health bar. You go in, you assassinate the guy, then you get the fuck out. Because you're bam, bam, dead. You're not bam, 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 dead. Like, you would die in 2 hits in combat. You went into combat if you had no other option. But, obviously, they shunned off that type of combat style.
far more limited and one-dimensional, with large parts
Guess
of this
it was
game
too
not
difficult.
quite designed to take advantage of his strengths.
Yeah, like, he gained health when he did that. Like, I mean, that just screams easy mode for me. Yeah, he gained health when he did that.
It's
Okay, well, he lost it
particularly
when he got
disappointing
hit.
because Shadows does find ways to tailor missions around both of their skills on occasion, usually in bigger, more pivotal, and more important battles where both heroes need to operate together to succeed. These
He's
special
gaining
missions
health.
are separated into sections that allow you to choose which character to proceed with, changing what's asked of you depending on your choice. It's awesome, and made the more homogeneous space between these moments a real bummer.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like old RPG, and RPGs did that better. I mean, I guess, is it new in Assassin's Creed? I mean, I guess the changing between characters is, but the story going, you know, depending on the dialogue choices and the choices you make, like, that's just basic bitch that has been taken away, but now we're adding it back and being like, oh no, it's a new feature. It's like, no, it's not.
Combat overall is more challenging and thoughtful than in the past. Enemies, especially in groups, are more aggressive and tend to have solid defenses, both in that they block a lot, and also in that many of them are armored, essentially giving them another life bar. Effectively taking them down means having a solid defense of your own, dodging and deflecting their blows to make them vulnerable, and taking advantage before they recover, though the camera can really struggle to keep all of the action in frame. Straightforward combat encounters really sing when playing as Yasuke, whose suite of weapons are all perfect for decimating enemies. Even outside of his toys, he's a juggernaut of a man, being able to literally run through walls and shake the earth with his blows. Naoe is very fragile by comparison, and while capable of doing lots of damage when enemies are vulnerable, she gets overwhelmed easily by mobs, especially well-armored bruisers.
Yeah, I mean, she's more of the older, like, Assassin's Creed style. I mean, too bad. Again, this isn't an older Assassin's Creed game. This is a new system with level and, you know, tanky-ass enemies. And, like, if I ever, well, I'll never play this game, but if I ever did, I'd just play as Yasuke and just beat my fucking head against them until they die. Like, I'd never play her. And maybe she has abilities to compensate for her weakness, but...
On the flip side, Naoe is a menace when striking from the shadows or catching enemies unaware. There are some new features, like being able to crawl and dodge while prone, as well as some returning ones, like her eagle sense and the long-missing double assassination, all of which add up to make Naoe one of the most robust assassins in the series.
I mean, I just wish her character looked better. She looks like she looks like an NPC that you can play now.
Enhancing your combat abilities is mercifully less tedious than Valhalla's skill constellation. Naoe and Yasuke have skill trees focused on their weapons and specialities, with every node feeling far more impactful than simple passive damage bonuses.
I mean, again, but every game has a skill tree. Every game has crafting. Every game has a gear score. Every game has abilities and tanky enemies with levels. Like, every game has this. Like, it's becoming just, a staple to have things like these. And maybe the skills are better. I mean, maybe they're not just slight percentages. Maybe they actually change the dynamic of the combat. But it's just such a... You've reached market saturation of this type of level up system, this type of perk or skill point system in just any game, really. Like most current AAA games and live services, like, we've reached market saturation of this.
Which still exists, but in small amounts. Gaining new abilities is obviously the most impactful, but some of the real hidden gems add new functionality to weapons, like being able to turn certain attacks with Naoe's chain sickle into grapples that let you pull enemies into obstacles or off of cliffs. Speaking of excess, Shadows takes a big step backwards from the work done around your inventory in Valhalla or Mirage. There are far too many pieces of randomized, color-tiered gear to pick up from fallen foes or earn as forgettable quest rewards that had no chance of making it into my rotation. Some might do as last-minute stopgaps to keep your stats in line with the bad guys, but only until you find that next piece of legendary gear or earn enough resources to level up a piece you already like. The skills in legendary gear, like this armor that has a chance to negate range attacks entirely, are impactful in a way that the generic buffs that you get from the lower tiers of gear never even come close to. Assassin's Creed Shadows takes a flashing blade to the series' established norms, trimming them to a more precise form in lieu of chopping them down outright. Combat is aggressive and requires more intentional parrying and skill management than in the past.
Yeah, but I mean... Okay, I mean, I guess the combat looks fine, and it's more integral than just smashing a button and just beating enemy across the head. But, I mean, everything around the combat just looks like games you've played before. And I guess in this particular game, it's fine. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm looking for reasons to shit on this, but it just looks okay. I mean, it just looks like a game you've played before.
And exploring the gorgeous provinces of Sengoku period Japan is encouraged thanks to a revamped map that de-emphasizes collecting icons and checking off lists. Naoe and Yasuke are well-realized and memorable protagonists, even though most of the story they drive follows pretty predictable paths. Both have unique playstyles that bolster each other's weaknesses, but they are ultimately imbalanced by the fact that you can make use of the stealth and exploration skills of the master shinobi far more than the superhuman strength of the samurai.
But predictability, like, that's not a good thing. Like, you would lose points based off predictability, because, I mean, the game's supposed to be an experience, but if you know what's going to happen, or if you can call what's going to happen, that's not good.
This isn't the Assassin's Creed that will change the minds of folks who have never connected with the series before. But for those of us with lots of hours logged into the Animus, the sum of Shadow's parts provide a refreshing realignment that you should not skip.
An 8. So he's saying this is... I'm surprised they didn't give it a 9, but... I'm surprised. So they think this game's as good as, like, Monster Hunter Worlds or Wilds with an 8. Like, they're the same. Didn't they give Black Myth Wukong a 7? Or an 8? Man, I just... I mean, I don't know what I can say that hasn't already been said.
For more action, check out...
I mean, I'm not surprised they gave it an 8. But, I mean, I guess they're just giving all the games high scores. Obviously, I'm going to start by reporting this obviously paid review to YouTube as misinformation. Because it is just that. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense why people would think this. After Ubisoft downfall, I hope IGN goes the same path. Doubt it. I mean, people still watch them for information, even if they suck off AAA companies. How's IGN still in business? Ad revenue? Am I honestly shocked they didn't give it a 9 like Felgar? Yeah, me too. This is what I said. I'm surprised they didn't give it. Concord 7, Dragon Age Velcard 9, She-Hulk 8, Invincible. Okay, fair enough. You're judging different things, but yeah, Velcard a 9. This website is not game journalism. You guys do not represent. I'm surprised they're even allowing comments. Because people universally just shit on IGN. One thing is for certain, I'll never watch The Amateur after how annoyed I got from watching the same 6 ads throughout this video. Yeah! See, is that the ads I was getting? Yeah, I mean, I only got it twice. People actually even trust IGN reviews at this point. No. No, they don't. Again, you watch them for information. You don't care for what they say. You know, IGN has gone to shit when the dislikes are doubled the likes because of how stinky the reviews are. How much did Ubisoft pay you to give it a good review? I got 6 unskippable ads of the critically acclaimed The Amateur. I swear I got it. I wasn't paying attention. Ghost of Tsushima is still my fave samurai game from the last 15 years, with Sekiro still beating my ass as we speak. Yeah. Did Ubisoft threaten to sue you if you didn't leave it a favorable review? This comment section is more about the Amateur than the actual review. Yep. But anyway, again, at this point, you're not surprised at the rating. I mean, of all the things surrounding Assassin's Creed, obviously they pick and choose what controversies to have. Like, they completely distance themselves away from what the consumer actually thinks. Until it came to Black Myth Wukong. Then, miraculously, when the journalist was shitting on that game, they added their gay ass input. But anyway, not surprised. Peace.